Good morning from the back seat of my new to me 2013 Toyota Highlander. What's with the dramatic title? Shattered Hopes and Dreams. I had a 2019 Winnebago Travato. I owned it for 3 months before it was involved in a total loss accident. Smile about it now. It was one of the most devastating things that has ever happened to me, next to, real tragedy like the death of my brother and other loved ones. Yeah, so now I'm relatively poor. How the hell did I even buy that thing? I don't even know if I want to go into that, but I will. I'd worked for 20 years as a kind of low-level programmer analyst on old technology, old software, and the company was having some financial issues. So I went back to school and did an online medical billing and coding class. I don't know if I'd have ever would have got a job. It's hard to compete for jobs when you're in your 50s with young people, especially when you're entry level in a new field. But I had hopes, and I worked really, really hard, and I bought that Winnebago Travato. The goal was to drive around, maybe find contract jobs, park in an RV park, because you can't really do remote work when you start out in medical billing and coding. And even if you do remote work, I think you still probably need stable IP address. But I thought I would find a way to make it work and still enjoy some travels. I never even became a real medical biller and coder because 3 months after I bought that RV and right after graduating my program, I was moving out of Las Vegas where I had lived. I was going to take a road trip and I was going to go up the Great Basin Highway, go over to Ely, go to Great Basin National Park, which I had really, really, really wanted to see, and also do the Nevada Loneliest Road Trip. And there was a trailhead called the Late Night Trailhead. The trailhead still exists, but you can no longer overnight camp there. But when I was, during this time period, when I was getting ready to leave Las Vegas, you could actually spend the night there. And right near the Red Rock Casino in Las Vegas and the intersection of Charleston and the 215, I had a green light and I started driving through it. It hadn't even just changed. It was a steady green light. A woman who had been drinking and she was in the right turn lane. She got a green arrow and her eyes must have been blurry and she was slightly impaired, and she gunned her engine, ran the red light. She went straight instead of turning right, and she pretty much broadsided me. Apparently she wasn't legally under the influence. I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of vague. I didn't totally lose consciousness, but I was in shock, and I had what they call the concussion without losing consciousness. But the official Highway Patrol report that from the first responder said that she had red eyes and he could smell alcohol on her breath. And he had told me that officers would go draw her blood at the hospital. If they did, she was under the limit, or it's possible they didn't do it because when my attorneys tried to find out, I mean, there was no evidence that she was actually a DUI. What she was an underinsured driver. And what I was a stupid person who had bought a brand new RV. You all know that when you buy a brand new vehicle of any kind, it depreciates the instant you drive it off the lot. I was required by the terms of my very large loan to get gap insurance. I had, however, put down a substantial down payment. And with the depreciation and the fact that she was underinsured, the whole process of getting compensated for this accident was a friggin' nightmare, even though I had a fabulous attorney, personal injury attorney, who also was a personal friend and who gave me a friends and family discount. This is kind of a long story. So I did walk away with fairly minor injuries. I mean, I had the really bad whiplash, spinal issues, and I had a sprained left finger, and I am left-handed, which meant I couldn't work very well for a couple of days. Plus, I was already only working part-time. Then all this stuff is taken into consideration in your insurance settlement. I mean, I got my med pay. I got the maximum out of her insurance. Like I said, she was fairly underinsured. And then we had to sue my insurance company for the underinsured motorist coverage. And they really played hardball. My injuries weren't worth that much money. And I'm glad I wasn't seriously injured. That was supposed to be my full-time home, and it was destroyed. I mean, it was so devastating. I mean, I think I almost broke even. If I sat back, I did the math at one point. I certainly didn't make any money on the accident, and I'll be told I probably lost a few $1,000s. I did actually lose a few $1,000s because I never even reclaimed all of my belongings from that rig. I mean, it was towed to a junkyard, and I had to go out there with a badly sprained finger and severe whiplash and try to get stuff out. I got a few things out. A friend of mine later went and got the rest of my stuff out and held it for me. But I had moved out of Vegas. I mean, I had to move in with my parents in Southern California to recover because I no longer had a home. My home was destroyed. I had just moved into it. And I never did go back to her and get my stuff. So I lost a lot of equipment and gear in that accident. But I didn't lose my life. So that's how I ended up in the Transit Connect. I mean, the accident was June 1st, 2019. My daughter had to be in school in Massachusetts, the end of August, basically. So I bought the Transit Connect hoping that I could get my daughter to college. I had promised her a cross-country road trip. Transit Connect was what was available at the time. And mind you, I still hadn't gotten any settlement. It took several months just to get the damn money when Geico wrote off my vehicle. Maybe I shouldn't have named names, but hey, I had Geico insurance and I still have them. They're not a bad insurance company. What if I hadn't sold my older road Trek with the money pit? What if I was in that vehicle? I might be much more seriously injured or dead. The Travato was like a tank. I mean, that gal's car was in really bad shape. She was carried away on a stretcher. I walked out of my vehicle. I lost my home. I lost my beautiful Travato. I had a sprained finger and my neck was messed up for about a year. So all told, I came out pretty lucky. In retrospect, if I had it to do all over again, I would have just started off with a van or with the SUV. Turns out I didn't need a Class B. I loved my road Trek and also hated it because it was a money pit. That Travato was a lap of luxury. I loved that. I'm not going to lie. If I still had it, I would do everything in my power to keep it, because it was beautiful and I loved it. But I liked my Transit Connect. It did what I needed it to do. It got me places that I probably would not have gone in the Travato. And this Highlander, it's going to take me to even better places. I'm going to have great adventures in it. And I'm really, really, really happy to be in it. And yeah, at some point I'd like a bigger rig. But for now, as a part-timer, I'm just going to keep what I have. Anyway, so that's the story of my ill-fated Winnebago Travato and how I ended up in a Transit Connect and now my SUV. So thanks for watching. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if not, hey, that's okay. I will see you in my next video.